Great. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about independent studying. What that means is it doesn't sound it's not actually as scary as it sounds. So what do I mean? I'm mainly talking about studying outside of school curriculum, so like reading nonfiction books, watching documentaries, just doing research by yourself on things that you might not usually do research on. So it's really good because you can find new interests, extend your like existing ones, but in the end, the main goal is just to learn things by yourself without external promptings, whether that be from your parents, your teachers, so on. Once again, I have to stress that independent learning and studying is not supposed to be like a purposeful thing. You should kind of just be doing things like by your own will and not by anyone else's. Um, Obviously, like I've put on the slide here, it's mostly about like watching educational YouTube videos, um, reading up on like interesting topics online, taking online courses. All of these are really good examples of doing independent study. And you might be asking like, why am I talking about this? It's not like you don't already do that. But now, like especially now, where we're all at home and we don't really have that much to do, it's a really good opportunity to just like explore some like things that you might not usually explore instead of just like sitting at home and like playing video games or something. Um, like I've written on the slide here, your learning really shouldn't be controlled by the curriculum, the school, obviously your parents. It should completely be based on what you want to do. And um, this doesn't have to be something school related. Like by educational, it could be about like computers and stuff. It doesn't have to be like a actual like proper science or maths or whatever topic. Um, and I personally think that um, if we talk about independent learning, one of the best ways is just to like watch YouTube videos. And even though often we might get yelled at for watching YouTube videos and whatever, um, there are actually lots of really interesting channels on YouTube, which like talk about really interesting things. I've listed a few here. I'm sure that you've heard of some of these, um, and they're really good because like they explain really cool concepts really easily. Like there's so many really interesting videos and stuff like quantum physics and like fancy like math series and stuff that you can just like go down a hole with, and it's actually really interesting to like read and like hear about. And obviously there's also those like YouTube videos where they make like really short 20-minute long documentaries about things. Like I think I've seen a whole bunch relating to like certain historical events and stuff like that. And then like after you've kind of looked at some things on YouTube, um, and if it interests you, I think that it's a really good time to just like search it up, read the Wikipedia page, kind of do more exploration by yourself, borrow some books about it, look at some websites dedicated to it. If you're talking about like some like maths thing or like a programming language or something like that, there are also heaps of really like simple short online courses on these, and they're really interesting. Like recently I did an online course on like economics, and I don't actually know that much about economics, so it was really interesting just to do like a course on economics and like kind of learn about things that I don't usually learn about. um Obviously with like books and stuff, um like it's really interesting. Like you wouldn't expect to read a non-fiction book, but if you like find one that might be interesting, just kind of go for it, because you'd never know what you might find out that interests you. You might have just like found your life passion in like a book that you might have not usually read. And like obviously going back to the whole like YouTube thing, um I do think that YouTube is actually a really great platform for like learning about things. Um, obviously there's also heaps of stuff, like most of you would spend a decent amount of time on YouTube anyways, but um I do think that you should try and look at some like educational kind of stuff, and I'm sure that somewhere there'll be something that you find interesting, beyond just like video game stuff or like the stuff that you might typically watch. um and by talking about other interactive media, like there have been heaps of really interesting documentaries on things like biology, on physics. Like I'm sure that everyone's seen some of those like physics documentaries on like space and stuff. I think those are pretty interesting as well. Like there are heaps of TV shows and stuff on that, and I do think they're worth checking out, especially now because a lot of us are at home and we don't really have that much to do anyways. So yeah, but don't like force yourself to do any of these things. The whole point is that you find it interesting, so you kind of like naturally want to learn more about it, right? Um, if you like, for example, watch a video about like maths and something and you find it like the most boring thing in the world, don't push yourself to just like continue looking at things relating to that if you already know that you're not going to find it interesting. But yeah, like I said in my last point, just keep going as long as it's like fun and interesting, whatever. And I still do this like even now. Sometimes if I'm bored or whatever, I'll just like kind of go on YouTube, watch a bunch of like random physics videos, and kind of hope that I find something interesting, some like random fact, some like random thing that I can kind of look into further and explore like a new interest in. Great. I think that's all I had to say. Yeah, but of course, in the end, this whole thing is about having fun and just like kind of capitalizing on this like time where we might not have much to do and kind of explore things that we might not usually explore. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? And I'll just turn on chat again. Um, yeah. So does anyone have any questions, for me, for Bo, about 3H talks? Obviously, about the program in general. We're happy to take them. I'll make it so everyone can unmute themselves as well. Cool. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, okay. Vsauce is a YouTube channel which kind of just like um like talks about some like interesting things. Phenomena means like unexplained ideas or concepts and stuff. Like for example, like UFOs. Yeah, they're really interesting, right? Um, how do you find a good video on YouTube? Um, I don't necessarily think there are good or bad videos. There are just videos that you find interesting and videos that you don't find interesting. So if you don't find it interesting, then obviously it's not a good video to you. Um, like, um, usually if you kind of just look at, if you say you know that you're interested in like some science topic, you can just say, okay, I'll just search this up on YouTube or something like that. And generally the ones that like come up first are pretty interesting. Oh, UFO, like unidentified flying objects. You might have seen those like photos of like circle disc thingies. Have I got any documentary channels I'd like to recommend? Um, I think basically any David Attenborough documentary is really good. Um, they're all like really interesting and they're filmed really nicely. And yeah, like I think any David Attenborough documentary is really good. What recent videos have I watched? Recently? Recently I've been just watching a lot of like maths videos, so like stuff like proving the area of a sphere. I think that's really interesting. They're all like 20 minutes long and they're just like kind of like advanced maths type things. Um, I recently I've also been watching a lot of like physics documentaries and proofs and things like this. I can, but I do feel that they're going to be a little bit difficult for the audience that I'm talking to. But I can give you the channel name if you want. I've put the channel in. I've put the like YouTube channel in the chat. Oh, thank you for your contribution in regards to documentaries. So. Cool. Does anyone else have any questions? Also, just any questions about the like 3H program in general, if there's anyone who's not participating in that. I myself don't know a lot about biology. I'm definitely more of a physics and maths person, but I'm sure that if you searched up like biology documentaries or something on Google, there'd be like a bunch of recommendations and stuff. How can you participate? Okay, so I'm not sure if you are part of the 3H program. So if you are not part of the 3H program, go to this website to like sign up and whatever. The 3H program itself, bro, do you want to talk about that?
Right, so essentially 3H program is thing that we're basically running during the period of quarantine. Well, not quarantine, but like since like we don't really have school due to the social, but basically due to coronavirus, we can't really go to school and that stuff. So essentially we ran this thing so we could give people who don't really have as much of opportunity to like have online learning, or just like they just want to do something, spend their time other than just, I don't know, playing video games. So essentially what we set up is classes. Like we have English, history, math, science, the whole lot basically. And essentially you can pick and choose what subjects you want to do. And it's like kind of another school, I guess. Not exactly, but yeah.
Yeah. And do you want to talk about 3H talks as well, actually?
Sure. All right. So essentially, 3H Talks is a thing that we're running. So we're giving students who are, well, it can be anybody, even if you're not part of 3H, like the program. You can just talk about anything like related to, like, it can be science, it can be math, it can be, I don't know, something you're passionate about. It can be absolutely anything.
All you have to do is fill out the application form, which I will put in the chat. But you have to give me a second to send it to everyone. Currently we don't plan on teaching Chinese. Just because I feel that firstly we don't really have any more time or people to give to opening a new subject now. And secondly, we are not sure about the number of people who would want to be engaged in being taught Chinese. Okay, with the whole Zoom meeting things, we were going to make it exclusive, but if you want to join another subject, we're not going to stop you. Great. Does anyone have any last minute questions?